Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief, but as the lead Republican on this bipartisan legislation, I want to state for the record my support of the underlying legislation as well as this amendment in the nature of a substitute. No child should ever have to endure the pain of abuse or neglect by a parent or caregiver, and that's why today's work is so important. The Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act is the key federal legislation that helps states combat child abuse and neglect. I believe what we're doing here today makes the law stronger and better. The scope of this law is significant, and the number of children that are affected by abuse and neglect each year is staggering and absolutely heartbreaking. In 2016, Child Protective Services received over 4 million referrals involving 7.4 million children. Teachers, law enforcement, and social services professionals accounted for over half of all referrals. Of those 4 million reports, 2.2 million received a direct response from Child Protective Services. Of that number, approximately 676,000 children were determined to be victims of abuse or neglect. While neglect is notoriously more challenging to confirm, it still accounted for close to 75% of cases reported to Child Protective Services. And while we know that abuse can have serious lasting impacts on children well into the latter parts of their lives, research shows that effects of neglect can be just as detrimental. In fact, some studies have shown that neglect can have an even greater impact on a child's healthy brain development. As this committee works to make CAPTA more effective in our fight against child abuse and neglect, our efforts begin where they should, with prevention. Prevention takes a holistic approach to combating neglect and abuse by focusing on strengthening communities and educating parents and caregivers on how to keep children safe. The bill before us today makes important changes to improve states' approaches to prevention and better help children and families in need. The changes in this substitute amendment serve to strengthen the introduced bill. I appreciate working with Representative Bonamucci, the chair of our subcommittee which oversees this legislation, and Representative Shire, the lead sponsor. I think these changes, along with stronger accountability, have truly made this a stronger CAPTA law. After all, children who have suffered abuse and neglect have unique needs, and it is our duty to ensure they receive the best care. I think this bill goes a long way in reaching that goal. I'm proud to be the lead Republican on the bill, and I'm proud of all the effort that has gone into this legislation from all the members here. And I yield back.